Hello and welcome back to the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike and Laurent. It is Thursday, March 11th. In this episode, we will discuss the growing importance of the Europa League, the upcoming confidence-building North London derby. We question whether Messi and Ronaldo are done. But first, Mike, who are the new kings of Europe? Who will we talk about like Messi and Ronaldo, if there's anyone ever?
I mean, okay, it feels to me it's almost like when, spoilers by the way, after the last Avengers movie and Cap walks away and Tony's dead and you're like, well, now what? I don't give a shit, right? Like, these are the greatest players ever. Like, these are the greatest superheroes ever. Who's going to replace these guys, right? That's kind of the task that Marvel has. That's the task that all of Europe has right now. Mm-hmm. If you look at Dortmund, you've got Haaland, and he's not going to be there next year. He's going to be somewhere else. Does Mbappe finally step outside of Neymar's shadow for good and make that step forward and become that player? Is there something that Real Madrid's cooking up? Like, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for a Vinicius or
no, those two. It's not them.
I know, but that's the thing is that like we're talking about the idea of the next great players, and Real Madrid's like pass, right? Like they're kind of not bringing anything to the table.
I think the key thing to know is that Messi and Ronaldo are outliers in history. There's nothing like them ever, and there won't be for a long time. Like everything in soccer history, you get 5 years of an awesome striker. Like Haaland looks awesome right now. He's 20. Maybe he'll be good and amazing until 27, 28. Like the idea of doing what Messi and Ronaldo have done for 20 years or 15 years is unheard of, unprecedented, and never been done before. And if people keep raising those guys, it's like the Jordan era. Like when Jordan retired or when he was done, there was another Jordan a million times. And Kobe did a fake facsimile of it, and he wasn't Jordan. And there just isn't a Jordan until there's someone like LeBron. And then it takes 15 years before we even go, is he Jordan? And then Jordan gets a doc that says, no, he's not Jordan.
Right.
So Messi and Ronaldo we're going to miss them. I mean, they are incredible. Like the superlatives aren't really there for us anymore to talk about them, especially for Messi. Like these guys have scored, I think I think Ronaldo's on 25 goals a year for 15 years.
Yeah.
It's just not done. Right. Like,
well, and I think, and the knock you can possibly have on Messi, and I'm not going to jump into the Jordan LeBron argument that exists within this conversation.
There is no argument.
I understand. I'm not having it, but my point is that like the most interesting thing or the most impressive thing to me about Cristiano Ronaldo is that he's done it in 3 different leagues. Yeah. Right. And including the Premier League, which is the most important. Right. So Messi's going to go to PSG, or maybe he'll come to Man City, whatever. But
I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's he's just gonna stay because
he got everybody arrested. So
well, anyway, we'll talk Haaland and Mbappe and my thoughts on them, but he seems so doesn't give a shit. He's like, I want to play. The idea of moving from where I moved to where I've been since I'm 10 years old. They're Europeans, right? You have to remember, like, they don't move. It's like, I'm moving? I'm not moving. Right. Brazilians seem okay with moving, but everyone else doesn't move, right? Like, the fact that Kieran Trippier is at Atletico is insane. He's English, and he's in another country. Insane. These English players that are going abroad now, it's like, this is so weird. No one even knows what to do with it. I'd be very surprised if Messi moved. I mean, he's 33. I mean, he's not going to go to City. Please don't. I don't want him. Honestly, I'd rather have Haaland.
Oh, of course, I'd rather have Haaland. Yeah, I
mean,
absolutely.
And on to the Haaland Mbappe thing. I think I trust Haaland more than I do. Well, that's harsh to say, because World Cup, for some reason, the World Cup trumps everything, and I think it's because of pressure. It's not the level of play. right? Like it's not.
Right. If anything, the level of play is worse.
Yeah, that level of play is worse. It's the pressure that's higher.
Right.
But Haaland's got the fire, right? He's fucking fired up. He curses out teammates.
He's physical.
He's big. He's ugly. I like that he's ugly. Mbappe seems like, I think going to PSG, that just pissed me off. Like, I get it. He's 20 years old. He's from Paris. He wants to be with his parents. Now he's 22. Like, you always have to remember they're fucking little kids, right?
Yeah.
Right. But that bothered me. I'm like, what are you doing? I guess I'm so, the thing, my problem is like, I'm so Premier League centric. It's really hard for me to understand guys that don't want to come to the Premier League.
Yeah. You're a Premierophile.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is the biggest league in the world. It just is. In terms of eyeballs, it's the biggest league unless you're at Real, right? Mm-hmm. And then the moments only come. You're only talked about, and I say this seriously, internationally when they play Barca and in a Champions League.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think,
in the Premier League, you're talked about internationally when you play one of the 5 other teams that could beat you.
Right. You hit on it in the sense that they're such outliers. We're talking about, I do think that Mbappe and Haaland are the next 2, but it doesn't mean that they're Messi and Ronaldo. They're not. Right? Like, and it's not an insult to anybody, right?
No,
even if they end up being Kobe, you're one of the all-time greatest players, but you're still not really that close.
Well, I mean,
right?
that's the thing. There's a, how do you quantify the best of the best, right? Like, the difference between the best player ever and the second best player ever is a lot.
Well, not in this case, I don't think, but I mean, like, but you're right. Like, wherever that tier ends, like it's the tip top tier. How's that for alliteration? And then,
but the funny thing is like, think of guys that have like been put in the conversation for some unknown reason, like Griezmann. Nope. You're not close.
No.
Hazard. No, never. Oh, not even close. Ever. Never. You fucking fat fuck. Who else? There's just guys that have like legendary status. Ronaldinho. I don't care what anyone
speaking
says.
Speaking of fat fucks.
But I mean, these guys like that live in legend. They had 5 seasons, 6 seasons, right? Mm-hmm. Original Ronaldo. He had World Cup goals, but he was done being awesome 7 seasons in. Like,
I have a thought and a question. Now, I'm not going to compare anybody from like the 80s or 90s era, but what I'm saying, we don't know anything about it. Yeah, we don't know anything about it, but I think it's true in American sports that the internet the streets don't forget, but the internet makes others forget because the immediacy and the content overload. Like, you know what? Nobody thinks about the 90s Yankees anymore. They just don't.
They're gone.
But that's the thing is that not only are they gone, they were in an era that was just before the internet explosion, right? So like they sort of are completely forgotten. Everybody in the 70s is still sort of revered and loved. And you think about it all the time because that's old timey to the internet age.
Baseball is a weird one where
I know
we had a commissioner and a league and a media that decided to destroy an entire era for their own personal vendetta.
They did do that.
Like,
but going back to soccer,
how do you destroy your own sport? Anyway, carry on.
But the example I was going to make was Zidane has an argument, not of that ilk necessarily, but sure. And I would say that he's one of the best, if not the best, from his era. So he would be.
Yeah, but he's a midfielder. He's like he's different. He's not. He's like he had 15 goals one year. You know what I mean? Like,
but even like Henry has a claim to stake. But it's not a real one. But he's also a victim of that to some degree.
Well,
right?
I mean, the thing with Henry and a lot of the Premier League guys is they live in our memory in the Premier League, but they don't have moments in the Champions League very often. I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lives on forever because he's part of the Bayern Munich team. He's part of the '99 team.
He's European Aaron Boone.
Right. So, but he had good. He had more. He was better. Aaron Boone was not as good as Solskjaer is. Really
yeah.
But it is weird how we remember things. I think about Messi a lot when people, and then I think about people like Maradona and Pele, who literally live on 5 moments that we've all seen 1,000 times. Right.
I think 2 things.
It's absurd.
I don't know that they live on 5 moments.
They live on 5 moments because there's literally no footage.
That's what I was going to say. We don't really have the depth of quality with that.
We've
Right? I'm
seen
sure that,
every single goal that Messi has scored in his entire career,
but
over and
also
over again.
There, it needs to be said that, and it's true of all sports, I believe, to at least to a larger degree, but Messi and Ronaldo, the competition that they've faced in their careers.
But it's massive. If they pushed each other, without each other, they wouldn't.
No. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The players on the field that they played against in
awesome.
Every game are fucking world class in and of themselves. Whereas Pele and Maradona and others of that ilk from smoking at halftime.
Yeah. They just it's crazy. But Mike, let's go into today's games, things that happened today.
Sure.
Today. Let's start with the Champions League. This was yesterday, and this goes to what we were talking about. Both Messi and Ronaldo, and this was the trigger for our conversations, both eliminated from the Champions League. Barcelona, less of a shock. Messi did miss a penalty. Barcelona played really well. PSG had a 4-goal lead, so they were fine. But Juve Porto, this is crazy.
Ooh. Hey, wait, real quick before we get into it. Good for Porto.
They're fucking legends.
Fantastic. They're this year's Ajax. I love them.
Yeah. Porto, they have the Mourinho. They have the moment. They live
and
they live in his. That's the thing. Those things live forever like that. But the thing that's interesting to me about it is Ronaldo leaves Real Madrid to go to Juve because they think it's the final piece. And what happens? They haven't gotten out of the round of 16 since he got there.
Yeah, it's true.
So they bought
high. By Ajax and Porto.
Right. They bought high and went out. Right. And now Ronaldo is on the tail end. He basically is no longer, I mean, he's world class, but he's no longer, he can't get by people, right? He's lost a step.
Is Ronaldo GameStop stock? Is that what he is?
No, he's not even that. So it's really the passing of the torch, and that goes to the Sevilla Dortmund game. The highlights are here. Haaland just put the team on his back. They win 5-4 in aggregate. They had their away goals, but he had a couple goals where he has that. Haaland has the power and the accuracy, and he has that goal that I like, that near post top shelf goal. He can do that one.
Yeah.
Because that's the one that's just like where you turn on a dime, you're in the corner of the box, and you roof it, and you're like, you motherfucker.
Well, that's the angry
that's the
Aguero shot, right? Yeah. So he's almost like if you kidnapped Aguero and Kane and you
put them
made
together,
a love child out of them in a German lab.
Yeah.
And it's Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
There you have
it. The other thing is he's big and he is fast. Like he's not quick. He doesn't have those like messy 3 steps he's past you, but he gets in a gallop. He's
a horse.
Gone.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like a Lukaku mixed with Kane and got the shooting capacity of Aguero. And it's not a joke. Like, I don't know how this works in soccer or why it works, but young strikers can emerge fully formed and destroy the universe from like 18 to 22. It happens. It's a historical thing that happens. Liverpool right the ship. They take out Leipzig, which is good for them. What's interesting to me about this game and shocking to me when I looked at the lineup was Klopp finally decided, hey, why don't I take my really good midfielder and put him where he belongs and let the 2 shitty center backs play center back. Instead of breaking 2 parts of his team, he just has 1 broken part. And all of a sudden, Fabinho bosses the midfield. Thiago Alcantara was showing off. He did like 3 karate kick passes that were incredible. Salah was good. Jota, this might be another turning of the guard where Firmino gets left out. Jota was incredible in this game. This is a name brand team that Liverpool beat to end their losing streak. Listen, Liverpool are weird. They could win this fucking Champions League. 2005, they weren't the best team in England.
They could win no, absolutely. Absolutely. A word on Leipzig, though. They're not last year's Leipzig, right? They
don't have.
They pulled it together. They don't have the goal scoring. Nagelsmann's doing the best he can. Speaking of, we were talking about Gerrard, I think, before we started recording, but the idea is that, man, we don't want him to lose, strike while the iron's hot, essentially, right? Nagelsmann last year, the iron was hot, and he's starting to run out of steam, right? Like the word when Mourinho was on the hot seat was Nagelsmann is going to come in. I think everybody's starting to fall out of love with him, like they did with Hasenhüttl and a few others.
Well, I mean, he's going to probably finish in the top 3 in Germany. His best player already got bought by Bayern Munich. Why these teams sell their players to Bayern Munich, I don't understand how Germany works, but that's happening. This is why the German league is the most broken of leagues, because a team is in the ascendancy, takes a couple years to build. They're right there. Then they lose their striker the way Dortmund lost Lewandowski. Then they lose one of their defenders the way Dortmund then lost. Who's the defender that plays for them? And I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I will in a second. Hummels went to Bayern and broke Dortmund. Right. So now Werner's left Leipzig. Upamecano's going to leave Leipzig, and they'll just be there, and everyone will be like, "Oh, that league's fine." I'm like, "That's a broken league." It'd be like if Man United just literally started buying players from City as they got closer.
Yeah. It's almost like it's a feeder league because they really just want Bayern to win the Champions League every year.
I think there's just like, it must be like a German sort of ideal where, you know how they do all their transfers really early while the player's still on the team?
Yeah.
It must be that the German guys who are in the other team are like, this is so much money. We must make this deal. It's so smart and makes so much sense. This is what we must do to continue. Instead of going, how are we going to fucking beat them?
Yeah.
They just don't.
I think it has a little bit more to do with that. What was it? The 2002 teardown in the German national team program, right?
Yeah,
like,
Das
where they were like, all right, we got to rethink. Yeah, Das Reboot, right. I think it sort of has something to do with that, almost as like Bayern Munich is the club version of Das Reboot, where they're like, they're gonna give us all the money in the world. Everybody gets a raise. Everybody cool with that? All right, cool. Fuck it. Yeah. Bye, Robert. Yeah. See you later.
But with that Das Reboot thing has made the German league the league to go to develop. And you're seeing that with American players.
Right, exactly.
You're seeing that with English players now. They know that if you're 17 years old and awesome, you will play at either Leipzig, you'll play at Dortmund, you'll be in the Champions League, and it's an opportunity. So it's awesome.
Yeah, and then in the shop window.
We can talk about next week's games next week, because City, Real, Bayern, those pretty much we just have Chelsea, but we have that going now to
back
the
to
Premier League. Black to England, black back. The other thing, your team is playing Arsenal in North London Derby.
So, okay, 2 weeks ago.
How are you feeling, sir?
I'm feeling great, but 2 weeks ago, I was sitting there going, there's one game on the schedule I even give a shred of a shit about, and it's this one. Since then, we've won 3 on the bounce. We've on, I think, from 10th or so. The idea is not so much that we move that much high in the table, but there's starting to become separation, right? Like, I mean, realistically, we're 2 points ahead of Liverpool with a game in hand. If you beat Arsenal on Sunday, you're 5 clear of Liverpool for 7th. Not that that means anything, but what it does is you basically are likely, and we'll get into why in a second, likely to pull into a tie for 5th.
You're better than West Ham and Everton. You should get that 5th
comfortably.
Spot. Yeah, easy.
And so here's the thing.
Here's the thing,
and we saw it. I saw it again today. Oh no, well that's not the case. Gareth Bale is back. Okay, he came on for a half-hour cameo. His first touch. Oh my goodness, he I forget who it was. Plays him out wide. He doesn't touch the ball. He doesn't settle the ball at all. He outside foot crosses it with his left onto Bergwijn's balls in the 6-yard box, and Bergwijn fucks it up. But it was just. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, but it looks like Mourinho. It looks like Mourinho has just been like, all right, fuck this. Or either that or working together. Bale has been like, I can play. I'm all right. I'm okay. Yeah. He'll keep calling me. He'll keep dropping me. I'm going to play. I'll go. He's like Cameron with, and he's going to play, and he gets in. He's like, all right, I'm going. So I think he feels confident about playing. The results help. He's playing with good players. I mean, it's good to see. It's good to see him playing. It's good to see less dour and more scoring. They're scoring goals. It's not fucking.
Yeah. Well, okay. And I've talked about this on the show a few times, right? But the very specific difference in Mourinho's style is not that he's changed anything. He's still counterattacking, but the rest of the team is getting up the field.
Yeah,
they're hunting
and they're converting, which makes a difference.
And they're converting, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you've got it still is pretty surreal to watch Gareth Bale and Harry Kane pass to each other and the ball go in the net. But
because they're not supposed to ever been on. So it was supposed to go from one to the other, not supposed to be together.
Exactly. Right? You've got, in fact, when he was at Madrid, there's a picture of like, I think after Kane's first major season of like them like shaking hands during a friendly. And I'm like, man, yeah, I can't believe we fucked that up. We could have had both of them. We have both of them now.
Right? Other games this weekend, nothing. I mean, Man United, West Ham, the David Moyes Memorial Coaching Trophy. I think West Ham is going to be pissed, and this is exactly the type of game that United fucks up. They beat City, they're going to lose to West Ham. It's so in the cards for the way this team works. They will lose at home to West Ham. I disagree.
I disagree, and here's why.
Why?
They already had their fuck-up game today. All right. They're playing Milan, which is they're two of the three good teams left in Europa League, Spurs being the other one. And they get a goal chalked off for VAR. Milan does early. So United's at Old Trafford. So that would have been an away goal for Milan. They go up 1-0. Fernandes sets up a goal. Great. 1-0. And right at the death, Milan strikes and they get them back. So they get their away goal and they walk out of Old Trafford, basically up a goal in the tie going back to San Siro.
Yeah, but
so they had their fuck up game today.
Yeah, but Milan is a name brand team. They're second in the second or third in the Serie A. They've been stumbling lately and knows Zlatan, a couple injuries here and there. I still think that United will still fuck up. They just will. Because this is exactly the team at home against West Ham where they won't be able to counterattack. They won't be able to break West Ham down. They'll win this. If they win this game, it'll be because of a penalty. I guarantee it.
Yep.
Other games I'm looking at, Leeds, Chelsea. I just want to see the vaunted Chelsea defense. I think Tuchel will really enjoy this game. It'll be a game that he has fun coaching because I think he's very nerdy. He looks like a nerd. He is basically the coach incantation of Goebbels. Really, really into his work.
Nazi reference of the week.
I'm not. City play Fulham. I'm not worried about that too much. City should be fine. Maybe I should be worried. I don't even know. They're pretty good.
So here's why. Here's why I'm actually excited for that game. A, it's at an afternoon game where I'm going to be enjoying it, and I don't have to get up before it. But B, Fulham they're a wounded animal and they're desperate, and I'm so
City aren't losing
for
2
them.
games
I know,
in a row, though.
They might.
You never know.
I think
weirder things happen.
Fulham could get a point out of this game.
I think
they could get a 1-1.
We have the darlings of the season bowl of Southampton versus Brighton. I'm not feeling good for Southampton. They just got beat by City 5-2. But it's Brighton, so anyone can get healthy versus Brighton. Brighton will probably batter Southampton to pieces and find a weird way to lose. But that's a big game because lose. Palace plays West Ham. This is Brighton's chance to make up space. They would expect Fulham to lose, and Brighton should feel like they can get Southampton. Based on their goal difference, again, they're in the top 4, but goal difference doesn't score goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
I know this wouldn't be ideal for you, but Brighton beats Southampton. They go to 29, and Fulham gets a point against City, and they go ahead of Newcastle. I'm just saying they get ahead of Newcastle. Newcastle goes from 16 to 18 in one.
We'll know because Newcastle play tomorrow. All those teams will know the Newcastle result.
That's a great point.
So there'll be a little bit of if Newcastle lose to Villa,
we are all villains tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, we're always villains because we love Jack Grealish more than any human being should. And Ollie Watkins to a lesser extent, but definitely the Spice Boys are back, baby. Let's make it happen. But oh my God, next week is the biggest game. It's Brighton Newcastle. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Come on.
A big 6-pointer. Okay, so let's set the stage for a second, and we'll talk about this in next week's show.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Let's just go down this road for a second. Aston Villa beat Newcastle, which means Newcastle's goal difference is at least -18, and they're on 27 points. Okay, Brighton get a result against Southampton, which means they're on 29 and they're at least -7. And again, even if Fulham lose, they're still right there, right?
Yeah, but then they have
Brighton beats Newcastle.
But then they have Fulham versus Leeds, which is going to be fucking bananas.
Sure,
That's a bananas game.
But hold on. Brighton could be more or less safe by 9 days time.
Yeah, if they could get 2 wins in these games, there's no reason they can't.
They're fine. If they can get 2 wins, they're fine.
They should call Daniel Sturridge and Jermaine Defoe and fucking Connor Wickham and Jibril Cisse. Get them all there. How many guys can we sign in a week? Just fucking for penalties. Just you don't have to do anything. Just stand there. Just don't be offside and stand in the box. Please.
It's not the worst idea.
You know what? It's called fucking Glenn Murray. The talisman is missing.
Yeah.
His comb over accountant hairdo is missing. And it's if we were doing baseball and this team goes down, it will be forever the curse of Glenn Murray. But they don't have curses. That's what they need. See,
which is so weird.
There's a lot of great things about soccer, and there's a lot of weird things that baseball has problems with, but curses in baseball is great.
Yeah. Well, they're all gone now, though. They've done.
Cleveland has a curse. Don't tell me that fucking LeBron winning breaks their baseball curse. Don't try and pull that shit.
No, that's
cursed.
true. That's true.
The fucking rain,
I forgot
the
Cleveland
rain
existed
delay
for a minute.
Broke it. It was like a double curse explosion.
It was wild. Yeah.
The best.
It was a double negative. That was the best worst game ever, by the way. It's like
it was a total
this was insane.
If I were the fucking Cleveland Indians, I would have walked off the field and be like, fuck you. I'm not going out like this.
'Em.
We're playing again tomorrow.
No. Fuck them. You know why? We had to deal with that shit and that pack of locusts on Joba Chamberlain.
Oh, yeah.
So fuck them.
Yeah. You and your fucking crippled father, you goddamn drunk Indian. That's terrible.
Oh man.
Oh, baseball. That was mean.
That'll do, folks. Fuck them.
I will take us out. That was the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike Salerno and Laurent Cortines. We do this on Mondays and Thursdays, and we will not stop until the season ends, and then we'll go into the Euros and hate England and Europe as much as we are.